Okay, here, let's start off with d4. We're playing Utu 2TM. Utu. Okay, could be a Nimzo-Indian. Yeah, he goes for that. Go for the Rubinstein variation. And yeah, let's develop the bishop. Looks normal so far. Yeah, so he's going for the knight on this diagonal. Have to be a little careful. He's got extra pressure on the E4 square with the bishop and the knight coordinating, and he can maybe take this knight off at some point to distract my queen. Not a problem so far. I'm going to kick his bishop when I get the chance, maybe on the next move, and see if it wants to take. It can't retreat this way, so if it doesn't take the knight, it has to go back to E7 or someplace like that. Maybe D6 was possible too. So let's kick it now. Okay. And next I'm going to take here to undouble this pawn. He might push his knight, put his knight on E4. He can do that, hitting the C pawn. So knight E4, queen C2 probably. Yeah, that's a way of playing. Knight E4, queen C2, pawn to F5, and just kind of cement that knight there. I think I will still take on D5 and maybe push the C pawn forward. But he didn't do that, so let's take right away and see if he wants to take with a piece or take with a pawn. It's an interesting question. It could go either way. Goes for the piece. So if I push forward to C4, the knight can hop into C3, but is it doing anything there? It's hitting empty squares if I move the queen, and then it has to move again. So where does it go from C3? Back, back, back. Nowhere. Okay, so he can't play knight C3, just has to retreat. So I have more space in the center now, and he has a good diagonal for his bishop, so there were some trade-offs there. And let's prepare to push E4. Yeah, that's a nice way to play. He plays C5 to undermine my center, making E4 less attractive because he can just take here. Okay, let's develop the bishop and see if he wants to take. He might take, and I'll take back with a pawn, and I'll have these hanging pawns here. He didn't. So I could push on to E5, maybe D5. He takes, I take. He's got it pretty well covered, I guess. There's this, bishop takes H7 trick if he leaves an unguarded piece there on D5, but it's not going to be unguarded. Even if I trade off this knight, he'll take back with a knight. So what to do here? Maybe drop back like this. Yeah, I think I want to play. I think I want to play E5 and E4 anyway, just to shut off the bishop down that diagonal. And if he takes here, I'll take back with queen or bishop. Probably queen. So he stepped his queen aside. Okay, let's push. If he lets me get in e5, that would be real bad for black. He has almost undefended kingside then, so he probably needs to take here, which will slow down the process of getting in e5. He's got that covered. Does he have it covered? Yeah, after he takes, I have to take back. Because if I push right away, he can take it. Well, let's think about this. I could push. He could take my knight. I take back, and then he takes the pawn. He's got the queen and the knight there. Yeah, so I think I have to take here first. But now maybe I can get in e5. He takes my knight, I take his knight. He takes the pawn, I take the bishop. If he retreats the bishop, I keep taking. Take on his king side. And I've got my bishops lined up looking at his king side there, so it looks like a good position. Let's see, I'm expecting him to put a rook on maybe the c file or the d file. He's hitting this pawn. But I could go ahead and play e5 anyway. Takes. Well, I do have to worry about the bishop. Okay, but his idea is to move the knight in. Okay, so let's think about this. I take. He moves his knight. And then I come over here to threaten some kind of stuff on the king side. If he doesn't move his knight, takes my knight, I take his knight. I think I come out okay in that line. Yeah, so he was expecting that, it looks like. So 3 defenders, 2 attackers. So queen here, what's he going to play? h6 probably. Then maybe knight g5. He takes. The queen could come in here with check. King goes there. Queen here, check. King goes there. Queen comes out here. But no great follow-up after that. Well, I don't have to play knight. I don't have to play knight g5 and sacrifice a piece. I can just keep developing, bring a rook in, maybe. You could also play g6 as well as h6, but I think h6 is probably better, right? Ah, he defends with the knight. Well, now I can play knight g6, get 3 pieces on that square. Knight g5. See what he wants to do then. Well, knight g5, he plays h6 anyway. I can't take there, he's got that covered. Go here. Yeah, there's places I can go, I guess. And maybe that's a pawn weakness that he creates on g6 if he plays h6. He could also play g6, yeah. But he did that one. Oh, I can't go there. Well, I have a bishop and a queen. He has a knight and a bishop. So knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes. Looks like I give up a lot of material there. Let's go back here then. centralize the rook, maybe get a knight f4. Knight f4 to h6, queen on g3, threatening g7. Maybe that's an idea. This knight here is covering these two squares where I might place my queen to kind of line up against his king. So it's doing a good job. So he brings his knight out to g6. Okay, let's drop back and defend the pawn. Okay, brought his rook to the c file. It makes sense. Do I want to play f4, f5, takes, and then the bishop is looking pretty good there. I'm opening myself up for checks on this diagonal. Got to be careful about that. Could have grabbed a pawn there too. I guess that was something I should have considered a little more. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. Yeah, so he's piling up on this pawn. Let's go ahead and grab this guy because when he takes here, he's going to be hitting my bishop, and that's going to be annoying. So we'll grab this pawn. And let's see, queen takes, I can place my rook here. Can move his queen with check? No. So rook here, he's going to move his queen to the side, maybe hitting my bishop. Can take the rook first and then save my bishop. This check and that check are guarded. And yeah, he's in danger of having an undefended e-pawn here after these exchanges. So the queen moves to somewhere it's not defending the e-pawn, then I trade here, pulls the rook away, and I take there. I can take with the bishop. He can. Okay, so he hits my bishop. That's kind of what I was expecting. So let's take here. And he kept his pawn defended by keeping his queen on that diagonal. So, what to do here? My bishop is hanging. Checks are guarded. Yes, put the bishop here. Defended by the rook. Try and work the knight into the game. Also, pushing the pawn forward and taking on h6. I guess that's the main idea here. Pushing to f5. Bishop takes h6, taking advantage of the pin. He can gang up on my bishop again, right? But, well, he has to be careful where he moves the queen because... yeah, because I can take that pawn. Okay, so let's go like this. My queen is defending g2, so even though his bishop is attacking it, my knight can block the check if I find it uncomfortable to move the king. But I don't see the check at the moment. I don't see any checks. And I guess there's kind of two threats here. I'm threatening to take. I'm threatening to take here. If I take here, he could take back with the queen or the knight, though. And his pieces seem somewhat tied up after that. So if he just moved his king to unpen the h-pawn, for example, and then I play take, but maybe I don't take. Maybe I push on to f6. He takes. Okay. Then let's just go for the mate threat. Seems like the most straightforward way to do this. Can defend with knight to e6, I guess. I drop my bishop back. Yeah. Bishop takes, knight here. Threatening a couple of checks. Maybe that's good. Well, somehow I was thinking pushing his pawn was good too. So his king can't move. Yeah, well, if the pawn were there, then the queen here would be mate. So maybe that's what I do first. He's hitting my rook. Giving up the check. Can check here, he goes there. Check here, king comes up. Or I check here, king goes there, and move my rook. So now I can check my king, and my pawn is no longer undefended. Okay, he brought his queen back to defend his pawn. Let's see, I want to check. I don't want to give up my queen. He's hitting this pawn. Let's go here. Now that there's a knight check, there's a queen check. Goes there. So this knight check now wins material. I think it was hard for him to defend, but we can check that out with the chess engine and the postmortem. And see you guys later. Bye.